Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Auntie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are
It's so
you?
nice to hear your voice again.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about your own self?
Oh, fine.
Good.
Yes.
You're looking good.
I am?
Mm-hmm. You got nice rosy cheeks. It must be the change in the weather, huh?
Or the aggravation. One of the two.
Really? Are you having problems with somebody again?
Gee, I wonder.
Huh. That's not like you. I try to avoid conflicts, my own self.
Yeah, that is 100% incorrect.
True.
Instigator.
True.
Instigator, conflict, all the time.
Oh my gosh, you're on a roll there, girl.
Uh-huh, I sure am.
Can this podcast be saved?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so far we've lasted longer than Jen and Ben, you know.
No idea they're not together anymore.
No.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a nasty divorce. Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, no idea.
Well, like I say, I have a mind for important things.
There you go. That is
Yeah.
super important.
So what up, sister? Or
Let's see.
Auntie?
I had some blood work and a mammogram last week, and all is just fine. My boobs are fine. My blood is fine.
They sure are fine.
They say that I have a less than 2.7% chance of heart attack or stroke in the next 10
Wow.
years, which is lovely to hear.
Wow.
But still, my cholesterol is a little high, and I'm not happy about that, considering, again, vegan. I eat no cholesterol. I eat none. And it's been below 200 for a long, since I turned vegan. And the past 2 years, it's been above 200. And I mean, the doctor's not worried. There's no real concern. It's not super high. But it's bugging me because it makes no sense whatsoever. And I'm just aggravated with it. But I'm not stressing over it either. Neither is my doctor. Like I said, she barely mentions it. It did come down a little bit this year from last year, but it's still over the 200, which aggravates me. I still think it's the lab.
But there's some things that DNA just, you can't change.
But I don't think
if it's in the DNA.
Cholesterol wasn't a high thing in my family. Like nobody was on cholesterol medications. No one.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily go by what medications they were on. I mean, you don't know what their readings were over the years.
My parents both took medication, so if they were asked to take a medication for their cholesterol over the years, they would have done it.
Okay. All right.
I'm the one that wouldn't take it. I would rather figure out food to eat rather than do that. But they would have, and neither of them were on cholesterol medication. So I don't know what it is. Not worrying about it either.
Yeah. Well, if it's,
So.
Yeah, if you've got the good cholesterol too, I mean, that kind of helps balance it out, doesn't it?
Yes, but the overall.
I mean, they do a ratio thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. That's why you're only at 2.7% of having a heart attack in the next 10 years.
Well, again, it's also not that high. It's bothering me that it's over 200, but it's not bothering the doctor at all. She's not even acknowledging it really, other than saying, oh, your cholesterol came down a little bit. Last year, she didn't say a word about it. So.
Well, good. It came down.
Yes.
Good on you.
But I didn't do anything different. See what I'm saying? So we went to the Ooka yesterday.
We did.
Delicious Ooka, our Asian fusion restaurant that we just adore and had some good eats.
And, if anybody out there says, no, I'm not going to order sushi because I'm not going to eat raw fish, they do have vegetable and vegetarian sushi rolls also, which are delish. That's what I get. What is it? The avocado, asparagus, and one other thing. Cucumber. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
And what do you get, Auntie?
Sushi rolls. I get the avocado peanut.
Oh, those were good. I took one by mistake. That was delicious.
And the sweet potato tempura.
Oh, those were tempura?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I told you to try one.
Oh, I know, but I didn't want to clear off your platter.
But they're very delicious, and we always have extras and bring home. And I have that for dinner tonight. I'm excited.
Oh, I had it last night for dinner.
Yeah, no, I skipped it.
And you know what else I did? I took my drunken noodles, and I had got a few tomatoes from Munson's the other day, and I took one of those big tomatoes and chopped it up and put it in with the leftover drunken noodles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. Tasty.
And the wonderful Palisade peaches that Auntie Joan gave me yesterday. Oh my God, they are so delicious.
Did you have one already?
I've had two already.
Two.
I had
and they're
one
big
last
ones.
night, and I had one today.
They're big ones.
They're delicious. They're so juicy and sweet.
Do you eat them plain, or do you
eat them plain?
You know,
I just wash them off and eat them.
Yep.
Delicious. So good. So yeah, for fresh, delicious peaches like that, I don't want to put them in anything.
No, I know. Yeah.
I'll use frozen peaches for that.
Yeah. It almost seems like a sacrilege when you take stuff,
Yeah.
As fresh and good as that is, and ruin it with stuff.
The only reason to do it would be if you had a lot and had to use it up because they were starting to go bad. Then I could see like making a peach pie or a peach cobbler or something like that. But when you're able to eat them while they're still fresh and before they get gross, then just straight up delicious. So good.
And people grill them, and that to me is really a sacrilege.
They come out really nice. They caramelize a little bit. So I've done it before years ago, but not with these. I wouldn't do it with these because they're too delicious on their own. But you put a little bit of sugar on the cut peach part, and then you put it down, and it caramelizes on there. And it's just like that with like a scoop of ice cream or something.
Is good.
It is. It's quite tasty with like a side of like vanilla ice cream or something. Very delicious. Again, I wouldn't do with these peaches.
Yeah.
I'll definitely finish mine before they get gross.
Well, you only have two. Did you take 4 or 5? You took 4, didn't you?
I think you gave me 5. So I did take 5. So I have 3 more.
So you have 3 left, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a bunch.
I'm very excited. Did you give some to Ruth and Otto, like you said you were going to?
Not yet. I sent them a text today and told them I had some, but they have to wait until the recording session is over.
That's right, they do.
I haven't heard back from them yet, so.
Gotcha. And then I worked the local farmers market last weekend, and just one day. Interesting little setup they've got there. It's so small. Our little farmers market only has 6 stands. But the downside is when I first started going to it when I first moved over this way, it was the same size and it has not grown at all. And I'm like, guys, so I'm thinking next year I might volunteer my help and see if I can help make it bigger and more attractive for people to come that way. Because the vendors are very lovely people. They're all lovely. Everybody's really nice. And I just feel bad that we just don't get the traffic. Now, to be fair, I left at noon. So maybe it picked up in the afternoon. The stand I worked was for our local co-op. So it was all the vegetables. And that's the downside. We're the only vegetable booth at the farmer's market. I'm like, well, that's kind of like the whole point of a farmer's market.
Yeah. What are the others?
Lots of fresh vegetables. So there was a loose leaf tea booth, and that guy was so fun. Him and we were right across from each other, so him and I had a blast, just shooting the shit and just being silly. And the wind kicked up at one time, and he turned around. He's like, "I said no," and he pointed at the wind. He's like,
Sounds like your kind of guy.
He was awesome. I loved him dearly. Mason was his first name. I don't know his last name. Very, very nice guy. And then next to him was a farm, but they only brought eggs, and I think they may have had a couple of meats there. I don't honestly know. I didn't go over there because I don't eat any of that stuff, so I couldn't tell you what it was. But I know they had eggs, and they were like $5 a dozen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
could have
fresh
brought
from the
me some.
farm, kind of. I think they had chicken
Oh,
eggs and duck eggs. So
oh.
depending on what you wanted. I think I couldn't read their sign. It was just a smidge too small from where I was standing at my booth. And I didn't go over there. But they seemed like lovely people too, a couple. They seemed very nice. Across from them and next to me was pottery. And then the other side of, I swear to God, Killian, knock it off. The other side, he's barking. The other side of me, he was selling eggs too, but I think he only had duck eggs. And I don't know if he had something else. Next to him, on the other side of him, was baked goods. So little baubles of bread, some cookies, croissants, I think, if I recall correctly. And by the time I got over there, because I didn't stop there until I was walking out, and they only had one little bauble of bread left, and I did buy that. They said it was rosemary bread. It wasn't. It was just plain old bread, so I wasn't too happy when I figured that out at home.
I finished off that bread that you
I
shared
have
with me.
one little sliver of it left. See, that's why I wanted you to take half.
Wow.
Because I will eat all of it without batting an eye. Because that bread was really good. That I got at our Cure organic farm stand yesterday, and that was really, really good. The one I got last week wasn't that great.
What's interesting about that bread that you got is that, like the day before, I was at the Costco and I saw some rosemary bread, and I thought, oh,
but theirs are ginormous.
Well, yeah, they are, and
Yeah.
but you can freeze it and stuff.
I won't.
So I was really tempted. I was really tempted to get it, and I thought, no, I've got too much bread at home. So with the bagels and everything that I got for free from Moe's. But so when you showed up with that rosemary bread, I thought, perfect, absolute timing. Timing is everything.
Timing
isn't
is
it?
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was only $6. That bread at the
wow. Wow.
And she had cookies and she wasn't set up yet. I was just like, by the way, what do you have? And she's like, well, I've got sourdough breads of different varieties, and I've got
really
cookies, and there was something else, but I don't remember what it was. And then she said, and I was like, oh, I'm like, well, hopefully you'll be set up before I leave. She's like, even if I'm not, she's like, I'll sell to you. So just come over. And I was like, okay. So then I walked over and I was like, all right, what kind of sourdough bread do you have? And as soon as she said olive oil, rosemary, I was like, yes, please. Give me that. So it was a good size. It wasn't as small as the one I got the week before at our farmer's market, but it was kind of a good medium size, and not clearly as big as Costco. Yeah, I did like that size, but like I said, I have like a nub left at this point, and it was just
you want me
yesterday.
to get you some?
No. Those are treats.
You said their lettuce looked good at Cure too.
It did. It did yesterday. Yes. Yes, I have.
I bet
bought
it'll
some
look
of that.
good the next couple days too, with it being cooler and all. Yeah.
Yeah. And that only other booth at our farmer's market was a tie-dyed t-shirt dude selling. And he had lots of them. I'm like, are people buying these? Like,
it's, I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet. It's becoming quite a thing for people to do. Some people do such extravagant tie-dye.
I mean, they were nice, but they were like, like you've seen before. It wasn't anything super new or
the old
exciting.
style.
Yeah. The blues and the reds and the yellows, that kind of stuff. And it was just like, I mean, he also seemed like a nice guy. I didn't talk to him, but he seemed like a nice guy.
One of those GD hippies, probably.
But that was it. That's the size of our farmer's market. And it's kind of sad. So I do want to see if I can help them. Netherlands started off with a very, very, very small farmer's market, and now it's booming. The county I live in started after that, but it's been years at least. Been over here 4 years. I don't know what's going on.
Here's a thought. How about making pickled watermelon rinds and selling them in a booth? Oh.
No, I don't want to run my own. You can if you would like to make them and come up and help me sell them at the farmer's market. I'd be into that. Because I've thought about it, because I make really good vegan chocolates that really taste more like fudge, that I can make multiple varieties. And I've thought about selling that, and I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, I don't want to do it as a separate booth. I mean, maybe hitch on to somebody else's.
Well, you could probably sell it to the co-op, and the co-op would bring some to their booth. But yeah, there was quite a bit of disorganization as well. And
yeah, they need a taskmistress like you to get in there and straighten them out and get things going.
I offered up a couple of suggestions for improvements. I'd like to volunteer again to see if any of them got acted upon. before I would invest more time, because I also don't want to beat my head against the wall. So those days are long gone. I don't want to do that kind of crap anymore. So
You don't want to be the head of the whole thing, huh?
no.
No? You don't want the power, eh?
Well, I should say not now. How about that? Not
Oh, you
right
got
now.
something else going on?
A little bit going on. And then I finally bought, I've been thinking about this for so long. I bought my retractable clothesline. And
oh my
I
gosh.
installed it today and put out my sheets and pillowcases and stuff. And I love it. I absolutely love it. The installation isn't the best because I did it myself, of course. And I hack things when I have to hack things. And it'll stay up. It's fine. I mean, it's holding up everything that I took a picture and sent it to Auntie Joan so she could see. So it's holding fine, but it could have been installed better. But
I have a clothesline in my backyard that I always keep up.
Yes. My parents always had one as well. And then here, nobody really has one. And I would throw things over the railing because I do like certain things. Like my jeans, I almost never put in the dryer just because they take too long and I'm too cheap. So
not for shrinkage matter. Yeah. That's
no,
not an
actually, they're
issue with
softer
you.
when they come out of the dryer, but they take so goddamn long. But if I throw them outside, they dry especially here in the dry climate, they dry so fast.
Oh, yeah.
So much easier. And it takes up less room. And then the rest of the clothes dry faster in the dryer as a result. Jeans and my comforter, I almost always put outside, unless it's winter. And then, although I do hang it up inside because I have a loft. So I hang stuff off the loft railing.
Oh, do you?
I do. In the winter. Yeah. It's rare that I put the comforter, unless I'm in a rush. Like if I did the comforter last and it's getting close to when I want to go to bed, then I'll throw it in the dryer.
Yeah.
But otherwise, comforter always gets hung up somewhere, inside, outside, and jeans, same thing. And again, unless I'm in a rush and I want to wear them, then I'm like, all right, I'll toss them in the dryer. I don't care. But yeah, I'm excited to have my clothesline now.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that it's retractable, so I can just pull it back and it just goes away. And it's tucked underneath a little eave, so you can't even really see it. I'm very happy.
When I lived in Loveland years ago, my dad, I bought it, and then my dad put up a retractable clothesline for me, and it had 4 clotheslines on it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
pretty nifty. Yep.
Very cool.
And I used it a lot then. I don't use it so much now anymore. And I really keep thinking when I wash my sheets, I should put them out there and hang them up. But then, with this whole smart electric meter and stuff, they've got high usage time. And between 1 and 7 is the time you don't want to use your washers and stuff like that because it's the most expensive. So by the time I do it, it would be after 7 o'clock, and then I wouldn't, hang them out until the next day. So, yeah, it's just kind of. I'm going to start working on hanging them out more.
Yeah.
Especially like the comforters and the thick stuff. Yeah.
I just like they come in smelling so lovely. I just adore it, and it's just
and the sheets. I like a crisp sheet, and so many of the ones you see now, they're all that soft. Ugh. I like them crisp, and hanging them outside makes them nice and crisp too.
Makes them crispy. I usually do dry my sheets in the dryer. I just really wanted to use the clothesline after I put it up. So I was like, oh, I'm going to put my sheets. And I had just finished a load of sheets. And I was like, oh, I'm going to hang these up. So I'm excited to see how that all goes. I mean, we always did growing up, for sure. We very rarely used our dryer. I think that's why I got into it so much when I got to be an adult, because my parents always hung up. Well, my mother always hung out the clothes, primarily because my father didn't want her running the dryer. They also had a dishwasher that they never used, but I could get into that. I think we've talked about that before.
Well, when I was in my 20s, I got my first wash machine. I was living in a duplex, and they only had room for a hookup for a washer, so there was no room for a dryer. So, and they had clotheslines out all the time. So this was a duplex, so I shared the yard with my neighbors who never used it. And I would wash all my clothes and hang them all outside, even in the wintertime. And I'd bring in my stiff, frozen jeans and shirts and everything else. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yep, I remember doing that as a kid at my parents' house. Yep, everything always came in frozen.
Yep, those were the good old days, eh?
Yep, indeed. So what's going on in your world, Auntie Joan?
Well, the Olympics, I've been watching those
Mm-hmm.
periodically. I don't sit in front TV and watch them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there was the big brouhaha about the opening ceremonies, which by now, by the time people hear this, it's old news. But I mean, it was just another example about how people see one thing when the intention is the other. The thing that was supposed to have been a mockery of the Last Supper, Da Vinci's Last Supper. And in fact, the intention had been to make it a example or a showing of the old Greek bacchanal celebrations with the feasts and all that stuff. And then there was the horse that was riding down the Seine River that they said was the one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, but in fact it was really supposed to represent this goddess who was riding Greek goddess who was or French goddess who was riding into France with the Olympic flag, and yeah, it had nothing to do with revelations and stuff like that. So people just see things, and by
Well,
God, that's their story, and they're sticking to it.
they clearly don't know anything about Europe if they're honestly thinking that France, of all places, would do something sacrilege because
Well,
France is most, I shouldn't say all, most of Europe is still highly religious. They are. So to intentionally broadcast across the world something that would be sacrilege is just so the antithesis of Europe in general. It makes no
mm,
sense. And so
mm.
clearly these are people who don't understand what the rest of the world is all about. That just aggravates me because
Has
that's
it?
something you would expect more in the United States for something like that to happen, being more open with religion
Oh,
and,
oh, yeah,
things like
yeah,
that and
yeah.
trying different, maybe spoofing something like that. Europe, they ain't doing that. Like,
Hmm.
use your heads, people. That's really yikes.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there wasn't much done about Notre Dame too. That hasn't played a bigger part in the coverage. Now that you mention how religious they all are.
It might still be. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, but I think it's still under construction. I don't
Yeah, it
think
is.
it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't bring more of that about France and stuff
Yeah.
into it. What I did love is where they held the surfing competitions in Tahiti,
Yes.
French Polynesia, Tahiti. I love it. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
wouldn't that be
awesome.
great? Yeah. So while watching all these Olympic competitions, you just can't help but notice the finely toned, muscular bodies that these kids have. And I say kids because, most of them are under 30, some
Except for
under
the
20,
equestrians.
but they're all covered up and you can't see them anyway.
True.
So the gymnasts, of course, I mean, always have had these fantastic bodies. Oh my gosh. And the things they do with them is just unbelievable. And then the track and field, they've gotten more muscular over the decades. And a mighty fine job they've done too of getting muscular. Oh my gosh. When I was younger, I would have been extremely jealous, extremely jealous. Now I just can sit back and admire the beauty of their bodies. They're gorgeous. What say you, Auntie?
I hate the Olympics with an almighty passion. Always have. They used to interrupt and still do my regular programming, and
Oh, wow.
I hate that. Seth Meyers hasn't been on the
Oh,
entire time.
no.
What pisses me off about Mr. Myers is he still took a 2 week vacation over 4th of July, only to come back for 2 whole weeks to take 3 more weeks off. I'm like, yeah, what the? Ugh.
Well, if I could quote somebody, infamous, when you're a star, they let you do that. You can do that.
So yeah, I'm just like, they've always interrupted my regular programming. I've never liked them. I've never watched them. I could give two
Really?
rats'
You've never,
asses about them.
really?
Terrible.
Huh.
Yes, I don't care about. I can't believe it's still a thing, to be honest. But
Oh my gosh.
okay.
All
And the
right, here
fact
we
now that
go.
they're every 2 years, because it's
Oh, well, one's the winter and one's the
doesn't
summer.
matter. It still
Yeah.
interrupts the programming. I hate it. Hate it. I liked it better when they were both every 4 years. Then it means twice in a year, done, over with, and I have to deal with it for 4 more years.
So
Now,
you would have been one of these ladies back in the 50s or 60s when they would break into their stories, their daytime stories,
Exactly.
to talk about somebody getting killed or assassinated or something. You would have called the station and told them, get off the air.
Not
I
for
want to watch my stories.
No. Something brief is not that big of a deal. When it goes on for weeks, yeah, I have a problem with it. So, yeah, I don't. And they used to only be 2 weeks. Now they're 3 weeks. Like, come on. Come on.
Well, since you are a Seth Meyers fan, then I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
However, the way I see it is there ain't that much good on network TV anymore anyway. So it's not cutting into anything that I usually watch.
I don't like it. Never have. So
What
that's
is
my
cutting
take on the Olympics.
what is cutting into a lot of it is all the politics and all that stuff, which we won't go into. We're a political free zone. But I mean, now that's taken over so much. One other thing I enjoyed seeing with the Olympics was Snoop Dogg. He's become the mascot of the Olympics. He shows up at all these things dressed like the contestants, the American team, and yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Who would have thought him? You know, I know. And then he's running through Paris, with the torch that looks like a blunt or a marijuana cigarette. And I thought that was pretty cute, too. So there you go. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss what we are watching.
What you watching, Auntie?
We are watching something new that came out on the Netflix over the past week or two, and it's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and this was perfect timing because without coordinating back and forth, we both watched it.
We both found it intriguing enough by their little trailer to give it a whoop. A whoop whoop. And
so what's your take,
I
Auntie?
enjoyed it. I did enjoy this one. I do find them far-fetched, when kids are solving murders. Don't get me wrong. I do get that that's very unlikely to ever happen. But I like the premise. I like the way they did it. I didn't find it to be too trite. It was done fairly well, I have to say. Lots of twists, which I enjoyed tremendously. I definitely had my eye on. Oh, so let me give you a little background, folks, and we'll get into the little story here. So what it is this teenage girl, must be a senior, I guess, in high school.
Yeah, she's a senior, yeah.
And
starting senior.
And her name is Pip, and she has to do a university entrance paper, and she chooses to do her paper on a 5-year-old murder that happened in her school town to somebody that was older than her at the time. This girl, Andy Bell. She technically goes missing. They never find her body, but they presumed her to be murdered and actually questioned her boyfriend at the time, Sal, who Pip really liked. Not liked, but he was always very kind to her, very nice, and treated her like a normal person versus, just a young kid or whatever. He was just kind to her. So she really never wanted to believe that he was capable of murder. But why they pinned it on him was he supposedly wrote a confession and killed himself and over the murder of his girlfriend at the time, Andy Bell. So Pip decides that she's going to really investigate this and document it as her entrance paper. I forget, they had a name for the paper, EQ something or other. I forget what the heck it was called.
Extra something, yeah. Extra paper, yeah, qualification, something like that.
Yeah. So that's what she's doing. She's going re-interviewing people that knew the couple, their friends, their acquaintances, and kind of digs into it a little bit deeper. Befriends that guy Sal's brother Ravi as her investigative partner. She had to do a little coaxing to, that he took her seriously and that she wasn't just trying to open old wounds for the sake of opening old wounds, that she really did believe that Sal didn't have the right personality to kill his girlfriend. So they set out to find out who might actually be the killer. And I think they do a good job. I think some of the parts were far-fetched. Like, they go to this rave and stuff. And I don't, Pip's parents were very lenient for her to do things like that. Like, they were very into the fact that she was going to a rave and all that stuff. I'm like, I mean, I partied when I was in high school, but if my parents knew what was actually going on at the parties, I don't honestly think they would have been as keen to let me go there as they were. I always couched them as, it's just everybody getting together at so-and-so's house or in the woods or whatever. I mean, they knew we partied in the woods and stuff like that. That was very big where I grew up because it was a very rural area.
And it was very woodsy.
It was very woodsy, yes. And knowing what goes on at raves is so well known. And her parents definitely seemed like they did know what goes on at raves and almost were encouraging her. I thought that was a little bizarre. Like, I just can't even. Her father was very much like, oh, make sure that if you take this, that you would. And I'm like, take something?
Well, he was kidding.
Yeah, but that's what happens at raves. Like, it's true. Like, that shit is there. And she did. And I mean, I think they dosed her. I don't honestly remember. Anyway, so I thought little parts were a little far-fetched. Like, I don't think parents would be like, yeah, go. I just, that seems strange to me. But, what do I know? I don't know.
Well, when Pip says she's going and the mother says, no, I said, no, you're not. And Pip turns around and walks out with a smile on her face.
That wasn't for the rave. That was to go talk to somebody that she didn't want her to ever talk to about, to bother the Sings or something like that. That wasn't the rave. I don't think. I don't remember that being the rave because the father was so into it. I remember that scene. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it was about the rave because the father was all in, like, go, to have fun. And the mother was definitely there during that conversation. So I think it was something else. But I do remember what you're talking about. Yeah. But I do, I really had my eye on, because there's one of the things they uncover is that this Andy Bell was seeing some sexy older man. Oh, it's a 6-part miniseries thing, about an hour each episode, whatever. And so I kind of figured out who that was pretty early on, but I also thought he was going to be the ultimate.
Yeah, me too.
And then there was a twist, and I don't want to get too in because it's too fresh yet. And even with this airing in a couple of weeks, I still think it's too fresh.
You don't even want to say who he was.
No.
Because,
No.
But they chose somebody to play that part that kind of fed into the whole thing anyway.
Yes. And then there was this rich and gorgeous Max Hastings that was a suspect for a little bit. And there's a twist with him too. There's a twist with almost all of it. And so I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that because I don't want to sound conceited or anything, but it's very hard for people to trick me. In movies, you know what I mean? Like, I'm usually like, it's that guy. Oh, it's that person. It's that. 9 times out of 10, I'm correct. Yeah. It's just, to me, it's obvious. And this one, like I said, I definitely had some things correct. In the end, I was not correct. And I like that. You guys really teased out enough and did so many twists that, I mean, there was even one point where I was like, oh shit, it's this other guy, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, that can't be. How did that happen? And it turned out not. I mean, he was fine. But I was just like, for just a brief moment in time, I was like, oh my God, really? I didn't see that coming. Well, it's because it really wasn't happening. But they had so many twists leading up to that I thought that was going to be a twist and then I was going to be mad. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. I like that it was English setting. I like seeing all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really dig the sweater vests all that much on Pip. Those are lots of sweater vests. That's something I can talk about.
You are a fashionista.
Yeah,
that just went, I mean, that didn't even register with me.
And they were really oversized on her. She's a little tiny thing, and they were really oversized on her. But anywho, so what was your take, Auntie Joan?
I loved Pip. I mean, the girl who plays her, I think she's so cute. And you remember when they went and waited at that 25th anniversary party and they had those star outfits on?
Oh my God, that was awesome. I was like, oh my God, I totally want to do that someday because those outfits are fantastic.
And she just wore it with a straight face. Yeah. I mean, she knew it was ridiculous, but I mean, you went along with it. Let's see. Like you, that particular person I thought was guilty of something.
Mm-hmm.
The one that ended up at the end,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought there might have been a little involvement with that person early on. Yeah, when they first encountered there, and then just there were a couple other times where I thought, I just something's with this person. Yeah, so I felt pretty good about guessing those two things, but I wasn't totally. The one that I said they chose somebody to play the role that was perfect for it. That was not what I expected. The crime that was committed by that person was not what I expected. And then at the end I was still a little surprised at who the culprit was, but yeah, not totally surprised, I guess. I will say that the time when the father was telling Pip to, if somebody offers you some drugs, only take half.
Mm-hmm.
I felt he was just kidding. I didn't feel they were strongly encouraging her to go and participate. I liked the actress who played her mother. She was in a lot of stuff, well, PBS things she was on, some other really good shows. I think they I did a little research on that, and it is based on a teen book. It was written primarily for teens, in that
Mm-hmm.
teen genre of fiction. And the fact that Pip was so ballsy, I think was kind of hard to believe. I mean, she did stuff that I just never think anybody would, especially at that age, have the balls to do.
Right.
But there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. There were definitely some far-fetched things in there.
But it was good. I loved her relationship with Ravi. I thought they were so cute together.
They were.
Yeah. She did a good job. She did a good job taking care of things. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
It had a good ending, as good as can be expected.
Right. Yes, I agree.
So I'd say watch it.
For sure. Highly recommend. 6 parts or 6 episodes, about an hour a piece.
And like you said, all the twists and turns. I mean, that really keeps you going.
It really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good find. When I saw it was going to be teenagers, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this.
No, I know. Me too.
Like, then I'm like, what else she got? Damn Olympics are on. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding. So I was like, all right, we'll give this a shot. And I was pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get over the far-fetched stuff, just kind of turn a blind eye to that and just watch it for the entertainment factor and the twists and stuff. It's worth it.
It almost made her more endearing, the fact that she was so ballsy. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard not to like her. And do you know that she was in Wednesday?
Oh, I know, she's the roommate at the school.
The blonde?
I do know now.
Yeah.
That makes perfect. She looked kind of familiar, but I couldn't place her. And I was like, I don't know this chick. And now, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh my God, that was Wednesday's roommate. Yep. She's hysterical. Loved her in Wednesday. Cannot wait for the second one to come out. Very excited.
Do you think Wednesday can outdo her choreography?
I hope so. I hope there's another dance sequence. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yes.
She improv the whole thing, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh,
I didn't read up on it. I just saw it and I was just like, oh, that's the best. I loved Wednesday. I literally cannot wait for the second one.
That was really good.
I'm excited.
That was really good.
I'm excited. And a new Beetlejuice is coming out soon too. I'm excited
for
that. Who's in that? A lot of the old cast.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this is a movie, not a streaming thing. This is a movie. Yes.
Oh, yes. You mean you have to pay to go see it in the theater?
Well, no, or you can wait for it to come on streaming later. But it's a real movie. Yes. And maybe one of them will have it right away. One of the streaming services, sometimes they buy enough rights to it where they can do that. But I want to say it's sometime in September. It's coming up. I'm excited.
Every time I think of that movie, I think of that shrimp, when they're at the table and then it all comes up and it's the fingers and
So good.
And the song.
So good. Now, I don't know if Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis are reprising their role, but believe Winona Ryder's going to be there. Catherine O'Hara, of course. And, Michael Keaton.
Yes, there you go.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yes, I know those three for sure. But yeah.
Oh, he was so good in that role.
So good.
Yeah.
So yes, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is something to check out on the Netflix, folks. Enjoy.
Yes, it is. I think, it's worth a watch, if I do say so my own self. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, we're back to that again?
Yeah,
That's a throwback.
Welcome back.
Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss commercials we have to talk about. And Auntie Joan's got a good one. What you got?
Well, have you seen the plant-based toilet paper that, was it Alicia Silverstone did?
That is her.
PlantPaper.
Yes.
She says that, the stuff you buy at the store is loaded with all kinds of nasty things that can cause all kinds of disease in your body.
Yes, the hemorrhoids, the UTIs, the chronic inflammation, and the vulvovaginitis.
I say bull.
Oh.
I say bull.
You do?
Yes. What say you, Auntie?
I say I've never looked into exactly how they make commercial-based toilet paper. So I can't refute or substantiate the claims made by the PlantPaper folk.
That's how they get away with it.
It wouldn't surprise me if chemicals were used, but I don't know. I couldn't say. I think if that's something that concerns you and you suffer from any of these afflictions, maybe do your own research and see if going to a plant-based paper might be better. I don't honestly have any idea. Yeah, because they say this ad specifically talks about the PFASs, which are supposedly forever chemicals that never, ever leave your body and can cause these illnesses and cancers and things like that. I've never heard that before this commercial. But apparently John Oliver, as a matter of fact,
really
did something on PFASs. Only reason I know that is because the last episode this past Sunday, he brought up a little screen saying we talked about PFASs in a previous episode. I'm like, well, you did? So apparently he's talked about them as well. I don't know what episode. I couldn't tell you what year. I couldn't tell you anything. It was just a little blurb. He had that little screen behind him, and they put up something about that he's talked about these before.
Well, we might have to do a deep dive into that. I mean,
So if John Oliver says it, you can see you're biased because Alicia Silverstone says it, and you say bullshit. John Oliver says
blonde.
it.
Yeah.
Huh?
She's a ditzy blonde.
She's not that blonde. She's got brown
kidding.
hair, I think.
I'm kidding.
But I love her. I've always loved her. But John Oliver says it, and now must be true.
Well, he's British, so he knows.
There you go.
And he speaks with an accent. So
there
you go.
I see. Yeah. I just liked the commercial. I thought it was funny as fuck. It was on the Facebook when I saw it. It came through, and I was like, I just saw her, and I was like, oh, is she in something? So I clicked on it. I didn't even know it was an ad. And then I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. I got to send this to Antie Joan.
And I didn't know anything about it till you sent me the link.
Yeah, so I don't know what to make of the actual product itself, but the commercial is hysterical. She starts off by saying, your toilet paper is fucking you in the ass. Oh, yeah, that's how the commercial starts. It's fantastic. She's in this beautiful gown, like she was at a gala or at a red carpet event or whatever. And she's sitting on a toilet, folks, like in a bathroom, like with the door, like a restaurant bathroom.
Yeah,
the stall. Thank you. And she's sitting down. She sits down. She goes, your toilet paper is fucking you in the ass. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Now that I've got your attention.
And I was like, oh, I don't think this is for a new movie she's doing. Like, what is this? So she had my attention, and I love how she said, vulvovaginitis.
Yeah.
Fucking hysterical. And then at the end, the closing line is, better for the earth, better for your ass. And then she closes the door, and then you see her trying to struggle to get her dress up over so she can actually sit, and then her feet, kind of pigeon toe in. It's very funny.
It was very well done. Yes.
The commercial is hysterical.
Yes.
And there's another one that has Stephen Colbert and Iron Man, because I can't think of his name right now. I can see him, but I can't think of his name.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr.?
That's him. Love them both. Love the two of them. And they tout a different plant-based toilet paper, and I don't remember the name of it, but that one you can actually get on the Amazon, whatever one that Stephen Colbert and Robert Downey Jr. are promoting. But the PlantPaper that Alicia Silverstone promotes, you can only get on their website, and she lies. So she says in the commercial that for only $15 more a year than what you normally spend on your regular commercial-based toilet paper, you can get this PlantPaper. Well, I looked it up, and for less than the amount of toilet paper I get now, I do the Cottonelle because I used to have little puppies on their packaging, which they don't anymore. But I'm a Cottonelle person at this point.
And I'm a Charmin Soft.
Was a Charmin person growing up because my mother was committed to Charmin, so we only
I
used
was
Charmin.
White Cloud. I was White Cloud when they were around.
Yes, I remember White Cloud. But yes, we were
They were
Charmin
the
family
best.
growing up. Up until their passing, they were Charmin people. But I am a Cottonelle person because of the goddamn puppies. They totally got me. And I'm just used to it. And I did switch to Charmin for a little bit because you can get it easier at Costco.
Mm-hmm,
Yes, but I didn't like it. And I was like, no, back to my Cottonelle. So anyhow, so I think for 4 packages of Cottonelle's Mega Rolls, which come in a pack of 6, so it's 24 rolls basically, I pay about $20, sometimes on sales, $18, $19 through the Amazon. They want, for this PlantPaper, $53
Oh my gosh.
for almost the same amount of toilet paper that I get for about $20. And I'm like, well, Alicia, that is $33 more than I spend every time I buy toilet paper. Now that does last me. I'm one person in my household, so that does last me a while. But that's still, I think I get toilet paper once a quarter, something like that. And I'm never out. I just buy it so I don't run out, kind of thing. But I would say about once a quarter I buy toilet paper. So I pay about $80 a year for toilet paper. But they would be, that would be almost $200. It would be over $212 for the plant toilet paper. I'm like, that's a significant, I mean, how did you come up with only $15 more than you pay now?
She only uses 1 square at a time.
That's right. That's it. She only needs a square. She can spare a square.
Yeah.
Squares are not meant to be spared.
But if you want true plant-based product, but if you want true plant-based butt products, why not save those cobs of corn that you don't eat? Because that's what they used to use back in the day. They'd use cobs of corn. They would use of course, Sears catalog. No, not the husk, the cob.
Gross.
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah, back in the day when they had the 2- and 3-seater outhouses, Yeah. And then
I could see using the husk. I don't understand using the fucking...
Ooh, I don't know. It feels kind of...
corn?
I would think it would feel kind of good. Well, no, it's after you eat it.
Yeah, no. That's all right.
Yeah.
Gross.
Kind of gives a little abrasion. And or... Remember back when there were Sears catalogs, those would hang up in the outhouse and they just rip a page out of the, Sears catalog and use that to take care of business. Mm-hmm. I've been using regular toilet paper my whole life. I've not had vulvovaginitis.
Vulvovaginitis.
I've had hemorrhoids, but not very many and not for very long. And 2 UTIs my whole life that I don't feel were caused by toilet paper at all. So that's why I kind of say, baloney.
All right, Auntie Joan. Anything else you wanted to bring up today?
Oh, I think I've said plenty. Thank you. How about you?
Likewise. So that wraps it for yet another wonderful pickled watermelon rinds episode. This is Auntie signing off.
And Antie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.